Hello, welcome to Talking Bottom on the Young Ones. I'm Matt Brooks.
I'm Ange Pearson.
And I'm Paul Tanter.
And this episode is Cash, the second episode of the second series. This episode is the only one staged and shot very differently to the others, not including the pilot. It's a completely different set. This one is rotated in an anti-clockwise 90-degree, so you can see the different fourth wall. Basically, this is to see the fireplace, to showcase them burning all their furniture, because the episode's about them all being poor and having to burn their belongings. The episode literally rearranges the house to feel colder, barer, more exposed. Perfect for an episode all about poverty, desperation, and everyone turning on each other. Cash is the show doing austerity. Heat, food, and rent is basically being used to show the absurdity of their world and how fragile it actually is. This is why it still hits so hard now. Guys, episode Cash, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's fantastic. Brilliant intro, Matt, as to how they've framed the house in a very different way, haven't they, to help you have that feeling.
Didn't spot that why it just felt different as a kid.
It's brilliant, the opening of this one, where you've got Neil obviously like laying the table, and you don't like there's like loads of like kind of like, you know, if you haven't looked properly, you have to do a double take gags of like the plates go missing. And then when he goes back to the cupboard's gone. And as you go through, like obviously then Rick's like his chair's stolen, and you realise, oh, it's Vyvyan, and then it obviously transpires they're burning everything for firewood because they're freezing.
Yeah, so he takes his book that he's fallen asleep with, his record player, which then cuts off the thing, and then literally the chair from underneath his.
And I mean, you know, to dive into it, but I mean that opening fantastic fall from Rick down the stairs and the banister.
Just before that, I didn't spot how clever a joke this is. He's reading a Karl Marx book, and then when he goes and shouts at Vyvyan, "Vyvyan, you've got no respect for property."
And also when it does cut to by the fireplace with Vyvyan there, the book's there. He's stolen the book though, but Rick had it upstairs. How's he got it?
No, you see him take it.
He takes just the chair, doesn't he?
No,
Does he take both?
He takes the chair.
Oh, does he?
He takes the book, record player, and then.
Oh, okay. I thought he'd only swiped the record player and the chair, and that it was almost like a double visual gag that actually he'd taken the book out of Rick's hand as well without him noticing.
I wonder if when this episode got turned in, when they got the script, there must have been a discussion of, right, can we shoot this the way we normally would? Well, the fireplace would have to be here, sort of in front of the camera. But then if they're throwing stuff into it, we're behind it, so we'd be where the chimney is. I don't think it'd work like that. Like in Bottom, we have Richie sitting down at the telephone table, don't we? And that works because we're quite tight on him, and we don't see. He's sort of framed by by a shelving unit as well, with Eddie in the background, and it works there. They only do it the once, but then they never really put anything on that fourth wall again. In this one, I think because they kept on going to the fireplace, at some point they must have gone, no, we're going to have to basically bring the camera around 90 degrees and shoot down this room lengthways, which just makes it feel really weird, doesn't it?
It really is like unsettling when you first come into it. I think when you're used to seeing the house as it is, it's like, oh, they moved again. Like, it's just a different house.
You kind of could think like, where, if they have a fireplace, where would it be? Well, we've only not seen one on the walls. Therefore, they've always had a fireplace, it turns out.
Yeah, it's very, very well done. And it's not even mentioned, is it? Like, you know, obviously, because they're just in their world. But, it you know, no one absolutely like says like, oh, you know, this is the fourth wall, or something else happens on the fourth wall that you realise the house is rotated. It is just, well, we need a fireplace, so we've turned it.
Now, the falling down the stairs, does that feel quite bottomy to you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, looking at it now, yes. I mean, like...
Obviously, that bottom feels more Young Ones.
It combines destruction of property, a fall, and violence to Rick Mail's testicles.
Along with nice sound effects, like musical.
And then a brilliant knob gag about him having the wood bits between your legs. Why have you got a load of wood between your legs? I mean, you know, we'll say it's Tom and Jerry. It's all of those cartoons that they obviously say they were inspired by. And it is Rick completely committing to that fall, isn't it? You see how obviously it's cut from the top of the stairs to when he goes round, but when he goes round the side of the stairs and the legs going up,
and the look on his face as he's doing it, it's fantastic.
There's a Blu-ray behind the scenes of them recording that. There was a pre-record in the studio day. I don't think it was done in front of the audience because what you hear them like stop start and stuff.
They said the
Rick-
stunts were done on the pre-record
Okay.
day, weren't they? Generally, because they couldn't really do them with the audience in. Like you'd have to have a lot of like setting up, and like it would just be boring probably for the audience. And plus, you then want to show it to the audience and get their reaction, don't you? You don't want to have all the boring lead up and setting up, and then like, oh, there's going to be a big stunt now, because you wouldn't get the laugh, would you? But then just showing them it, absolutely perfect. It's Capital Volume 1 that Rick's reading, which is
Das Capital.
Yeah, but this one says Volume 1 on it, which I thought was a nice detail that he's at the beginning. He's starting on it. Isn't
Chapter
it? Like,
1, Sentence 3.
Yeah, I just sort of thought, it's Capital Volume 1. He's only really just starting. He's not like really digging in yet to marks.
And reading it sends him to sleep instantly because he's sleeping.
And the fact that you've got no respect for property hasn't really gone over it yet.
Yeah.
Now, quickly they go through everything they burn as well. All that firewood that he's got, that should have set him right for a while, but no, it's his record player. He's in tears. It's like, that's a good bit between Mike and Vyvyan. Like, you said it was your record player. No, I didn't. I said, let's set fire to Rick's record player. That'll be good for a laugh. Oh yeah, that's right. It is.
Well, don't you get the feeling that Vyvyan is actually just enjoying burning stuff? Like, that obviously it is cold, and they're eating snow later.
Mike's orders, I reckon. Right, there's calls for plan, drastic action. We're gonna need to burn, and then he's probably already started burning stuff before he's finished the sentence. And Vyvyan's ecstatic,
like the stair carpet's gone, everything's going.
Yeah. And then there's some great bits of them burning everything that's not nailed down, and they start nailing stuff down later. Start burning china plates, which are not at all flammable.
I feel like there's really good comedy in people burning things. There's an air of desperation about it, but then you'll get like a competitive element, which we see in an episode of Red Dwarf Marooned, like where like Lister doesn't want to burn his guitar, so he wants to burn Rimmer's camphor wood, chess pieces or whatever the fuck it was.
No, it's the actual case.
The case. That's it. But also the Armée du Nord pieces.
And the army soldiers are that as well. But it's like, anyway, brilliant, love that.
Or in Withnail and I, when they're in this when they're in Monty's cottage, and he's describing it as a freezing shack, and Withnail just
can't bring it in, bring in the shed,
and Withnail just breaks, and he picks up a chair and just smashes it, and then Marwood says, "If you can't find anything outside, bring in the shed." It brings out desperation of people, but also if people have their own stuff there, like Rick, they have this thing of like, don't burn my things, burn your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vyvyan, I don't think he's burning anything of his own, is he? Like, he probably doesn't have anything to burn, but he's stealing all of Rick's stuff and he's delighting in it. And obviously in Red Dwarf, the extra joke is like, this is the last copy of William Shakespeare's works. This is how desperate we are to keep Lister the last human alive. Whereas obviously this is just the students, they're on the bones of their arse and they are freezing in the winter. And amazing that it's all fake snow, isn't it? And they got into trouble with the neighbours.
At no point did Rimmer or Lister think someone else on Red Dwarf might have had another copy of William Shakespeare somewhere in their quarters.
At that point, I guess whatever's left on the ship is it as far as they're concerned. So that might be the final copy. And obviously Rimmer's never read any of it. Anyway, it's not the Red Dwarf podcast.
So isn't there a line that Mike says like, Vyvyan has burned everything Neil owns as a thing of like saying how much people had to sacrifice.
And that shows the order in which he's done it. Neil first, then Rick. He won't have touched any of Mike's stuff.
What's lovely about Vyvyan burning stuff is that he goes over to borrow a cup of sugar from the neighbour, and so initially in a way that makes you think, oh, he's got a crush on her. Oh no, actually,
I've always thought that.
Yeah, no, but then it's like obvious. Oh no, he's just come over to get stuff.
There's like a weird flirtation that happens, but then you realise he's done it 6 times already that day.
Can I get any of my
he comes back, and I know that sugar wouldn't burn that long, but he throws the calorific thing on the ground and then throws the unburnable thing on the fire. Yeah.
Do you know the advert of the bank account? Open a bank account where Adrian Emerson did.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one where at the end he shouts "bastard"?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
He says, may I borrow a cup of sugar, please? He says, very similar to, may I open a bank account, please?
So
putting H's.
That's Vyvyan trying to be posh or whatever.
Putting an H where they're not needed. Yes, very similar. But obviously, he was kind of playing Vyvyan in that advert.
So you mentioned, Ange, that they got in trouble but putting down fake snow outside.
Yeah, basically they'd put fake snow in all the gardens of the surrounding houses for filming, and they hadn't asked permission
Oh,
from the
okay.
neighbours. And of
Right.
course, filming went on longer than they thought it was going to. And it's just, I don't know how much trouble they got into, but
People
the
coming
neighbours
home from work,
started
like,
coming
yeah?
home from
Yeah.
work and were like, "Why is my garden full
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
fake snow or whatever?" I'm sure it
So
wasn't that bad, but
would it
it does
be-
just show like you
Why-
would have to ask permission now, wouldn't you? They wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
dare.
And even worse, why is Jules fucking Holland playing music at the end of my street?
Why was the snow still there? That made me think then that it's not made artificial snow. It's fake
Oh,
snow. You know, like
okay.
it doesn't melt.
If it's
You know,
stuff,
it's-
okay, I've used this stuff before. There's like a fine powder
Yeah.
that you can put down, and the thing is, then it's very difficult. Like you have to wash it away afterwards as
Okay.
well, because if you don't, it just sits there and stays.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, is the point for it to be while
Yeah,
you're filming.
yeah.
But when you come home from work and you find it in your garden, you won't be best
Isn't it
pleased.
interesting that because it's so cold and you see all the snow everywhere,
Hmm.
you assume that it's winter time, but they they go out of the way to say, "Oh, there's snow." Anyone would think it's winter, so it's not winter.
Oh, okay.
That's
Right.
unusual.
Just a daft little
Yeah.
stupid observation, I guess.
Yeah.
And what I mean, I know you mentioned austerity at the top there, Matt, and it absolutely is, isn't it? But it's also, this is Thatcher's Britain,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you noticed on the wall by the kitchen, there's a poster that just says "Early Victorian Breakfasts." And it's a really bleak image of a
Okay.
Victorian,
All right.
like, you know, I don't know, breakfast table.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the entire theme of this episode is, of course, you know, they've got no cash,
Yeah.
but it is also that feeling of poverty,
Yeah.
but inflicted somehow by
There's a-
society, isn't it? You know, because that idea of, you know, Victorian austerity was something that, in many ways, like, you feel like people revere, but actually people were living in
Yeah.
abject
Okay.
poverty at the same time. You know, it's like being very, you know, kind of prim and proper or whatever is what we
Yeah.
kind of associate, but actually it was a really fucking tough time. And I think that is what, you know, they're trying to get across in the writing. And there's a brilliant bit where Rick looks straight down the camera, isn't it? He's like, "You satisfied, Thatcher?"
Yeah.
And that is one of the most politically charged bits that Rick, the student,
Yeah,
ever has.
yeah.
But it's the way Rick Mail looks directly down the camera and shouts. And it is like, that to me really does feel like Rick is literally shouting at Thatcher himself there rather than in the character, isn't he? It's so much.
I don't know why
like
you have to
visceral
bring
hatred.
politics into this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
always do,
Don't
apparently. I'm off
wanna
on one
talk
again.
it's just silly humour of hitting people.
No, but
They've
it's got-
never had any politics
And
in
the
their
thing is,
shows.
on the surface, you know, it is just fun, and they're eating snow, and they're saying it's risotto, and they're
Do you
going
know
down the
what?
stairs with the
That-
banisters and stuff. But
I-
the underlying
The
thing is that
risotto bit-
students have no bloody money.
the risotto bit.
And is that
Every
their own
time
fault?
I make risotto, I think of it's one of my favourite bits. That back and forth, eat it really quickly. You're just gonna melt.
it'll melt.
I think it's no, I know snow, and I've seen all I've had to eat the last 4 or 5 days.
Well, I
whatever.
mean, Neil nailing the plates to the table is.
Do you think it's weird that Mike is the one who has his legs
Yes,
nailed to the table?
It feels very not
because
Mike.
He's the least cartoon character
Yes.
of the 4, isn't he?
Yeah.
And so the fact that you then see like bandages with blood on sort of feels like a real consequence of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I do really love that just in the background, Mike almost takes on maybe a sort of a dad role of like, I'm going to figure out how to get this nail through the plate.
Right,
You know,
right.
like, I think that's where it comes from. It's like, well, Mike's been left with no lines really at that point, hasn't he? So he's just deciding to figure out how to nail the plates to the table
Yeah.
and not thought through in a cartoon way that it's going to go straight through his legs. And you're right, it's not very Mike, but I like that he's involved in the violence
Yeah.
and the ludicrous cartoon humour
It's
in
one
this
of his
'cause-
best moments because of that. I
and
think.
Christopher Ryan's obviously the smallest one of all of
Yeah.
them as well. So actually, maybe it would have just been, if you were in the writing, you know, you were thinking, which character could we do that with? Mike kind of makes the most sense as Chris Ryan
Yeah.
because he presumably is slightly sort of easier to nail to the table. He is levitating, isn't he?
I mean,
Did he actually nail himself to the table?
It's a lovely reveal the way they do it by chainsawing away the chair legs and actually get to the last one, and he's like one of those floating Yodas in Leicester
Yeah.
Square, you know.
But it also really works because you don't really notice what Mike's doing, and he's one of the characters who often does. He's not
Yes.
as like verbose. He's not as like screaming for the
He's
attention of the
subtly
camera.
in pain before
Yeah.
that, but he's not screaming, as you say.
Yeah, so it works for the like
Yes.
misdirection of it, and then you realise, oh no, that's why he's not fallen to the ground when the legs come off. And it is quite graphic, the blood dripping down those nails, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it's the props department or the art department, you know, obviously makeup and everyone working together on that must have been quite a challenge to do, because that is live in front of the audience, isn't it?
Oh, I
Yes.
assume so. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't do
Yeah, the
everything
reaction,
on the
yeah.
pre-record. Yeah.
stuff.
Maybe
as
that
you say,
cutaway
that's-
close up maybe.
It's interesting you say, Paul, that you actually see that he bandaged up legs in later
Because that's consequence,
scenes.
isn't it? Whereas Vyvyan in the previous episode, his head just goes back on, gives it a little twiddle,
I
and that's
don't
it.
think he's even got a stitches scar on his neck. I don't remember seeing that. No.
Whereas here, there's actually, it's very rare in the Rick and Aid world of cartoon violence for the violence to have a consequence. I say that, but then I suppose it has a consequence when it's funny. So Richie will have his leg in a cast because it makes it funny, doesn't it? But there's nothing funny about seeing Mike look in pain with like bloody bandages on his legs.
But do you think actually?
Yeah.
Do you think in this one it is because there's like almost like a cold reality of of the harshness that is actually befalling the characters in this one?
There's a lot of bleakness in the episode.
Vyvyan, obviously we learn that he believes he's pregnant. It's like they've got nothing to give birth on, and all this kind of like there is jeopardy of their own making.
That's really interesting, the pregnancy bit, isn't it? Because I agree. I think he does kind of buy into his own lie, and he's believing it at one point, I think. He's a medical student as well, so all of them, if any of them should know.
I don't know, obviously trying to get into the mind of the character that is Vyvyan, and then you think about the writers. I think they're obviously not necessarily Vyvyan believing what he's saying. It is that he has got distended wind or whatever it is. But it is interesting in the commentary when Lisa Mayer reveals that it's actually from a real thing that happened to Aid, which I'd forgotten about this. I think he does go over it in his autobiography, or he has talked about it in interviews before, maybe just very briefly. But apparently Aid did get rushed to hospital in his youth because he was in chronic pain and they thought it was appendicitis or something, and a doctor literally just kind of shoved a finger up his bum for an inspection or whatever. I don't think for fun, and all this just a massive fart came out.
5 minute
released the gas that was obviously like trapped. So that's brilliant, isn't it? That was where that obviously came from him telling that story. It's like, right, let's make Vyvyan pregnant then with a gas baby.
The pregnant belly is not an effect. Well, later it is. But when you see his bare, naked belly, Aid can just like sort of inflate his stomach a bit, and it looks very good.
It's like a balloon later, isn't it, or something under it? It doesn't look like they've done lots and lots of work on, but obviously it would have taken probably more time than it would to just be like, I'll just pop my belly out a bit so it looks a little bit distended.
The previous episode, I was going to say the previous episode is one that had a lot of comedy cameos. And we have Frost and Arden returning, don't we? As well as Andy Delatour as a sort of informative TV presenter, doing something that reminded me of Stephen Burkoff on Brass Eye.
Well, it's
when he
one
was
of
talking
those
about heavy electricity.
Visible lead soup.
That's it.
Bit,
I think that could be your mother.
Yes.
But it is taking the piss out of those kind of 70s infomercials for public information films, isn't it? Like, basically don't drive your car on the pavement. It's like all this, like, of course we're not going to do that, but you've got these films like talking down to the population as if they're going to do stupid things like drink and drive.
That this cricket bat is a car and stuff in a school talent show.
Oh, did you really?
Well, it's just as a like a monologue thing. It's like, what the fucking hell is this?
How did that go down?
Weirdly, because I made a mess. The Oblivion Boys playing Headless Ghosts 38 years before BBC's sitcom Ghosts as well. There's a lot of humour, I think, in a headless character being another headless character from...
in Ghosts is one of them headless? And is he always losing his head? And okay, right.
That happens.
So it's a lot of humour. It's one gag, isn't it?
It's one gag, yeah.
But then this one, they do having more than one of them leads to the fact that they're kind of arguing with each other while one of the corpses is holding them, and that I don't think I'd seen before or since.
There's humour in the whole sort of, you're trying to steal my body because I've got a nicer arse than you.
Nicer bottom. They say always use bottom, don't they? They love the word bottom.
Well, it's cleaner, isn't it, as well for the...
and of course the whole, no, my head's rolled over here, oh, this woman's farted, get me out of here before she farts again.
I mean, when I say bottoms are cleaner, right? Obviously not if they're spotty like Rick's, but I love that you have a lot of back and forth between those ghosts, don't you? They really let them have a fair bit of screen time, especially once they've gone next door, and like you say, like, she's farting next door, so this entire street is full of people who are actually grotesque.
One of them, so when they come back, they've got a boombox thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's a ghost boombox, which is from a different era.
Does that mean
Victorian
the
times.
boombox had to die at some point?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. But
Maybe he blew his own head off by playing the
it's-
music before his
Yeah.
time. It's a nice visual, isn't it?
Do you know who the guy was who suddenly appeared interrupting it with this sort of shouty bit that I didn't?
Catch me with my trousers. That's somewhat
I
one
didn't-
that they know.
I can't say I can't say I thought it added much. But
It's an interesting one because they do talk about him fondly again in the commentary. He's Steve Dix, I believe, and I think he
Dix.
Does he?
Thing was part of the original 20th Century Coyote. He
Oh,
went to uni
wow,
with Rick
okay.
and Aid. That's what they say on the commentary anyway. And he was, obviously he's really manic, isn't he, in that bit? And I think he was known for doing that in the live kind of space. So I've never seen him though. He obviously didn't get much telling
being
time.
in a comedy group with Rick Mail and you're known as the manic one.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they say that, but that's what he comes across as. It's a really weird little interlude, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That didn't particularly make me, I don't know, it didn't move you. It was just sort of like, that was weird. But he is manic. He's got an incredible manic stare.
Nothing at all to do with the plot. It's almost like he hijacked the edit and just let me cut my moment in.
I'm just going to splice this in now at the end and no one will know anything about it. Yeah.
So
There's that other weird little cutaway to God, isn't there? But it's like a Tony Blackburn style DJ where it's like he complains like God, and it's like, don't blame me, I didn't cook it. And that's all that is, like a really random little Tony Blackburn-esque thing.
That comes back in the last episode, doesn't it? Because May God Strike Me Down Dead.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's the same
there you
God.
go. They're committing still to the weird little sideways swipes to other places, but they aren't as long-winded as series 1, are they?
No.
And they are more, therefore, for me, I don't know if I speak for everyone, but like they're a bit more enjoyable because you know that they're not going to go on too long, like compared to some of the ones in previous, like, in series 1.
What kind of swipes do you mean?
You know, like
this
this little segues of different people coming in, like so that God one or whatever, it's literally just a sentence, isn't it? And then it cuts away again.
Yeah.
Almost like, obviously, it's not like Family Guy invented it, like it's that kind of cartoon style, just a quick look that way and then we're back to the
If it's
action.
on a cartoon, though, you can really have it short. But if it's in front of a live studio thing, if you cut away, then you feel we've built the set, we've got these people.
Yeah.
We then feel that we have to do something with it. And often it does outstay its welcome.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's about that outstaying its welcome thing because that guy is obviously dressed up like in that costume and he's surrounded by. I think there's a couple of. Is it like Cupid, like like angels or whatever behind him? Like they've obviously got a couple of extras and it is literally a 10-second cutaway. Anyway, that's quite fun. And Frost and Arden, it's a lot of fun of them as the ghost. Really fucking random, but again plays into this sort of Victorian / even medieval feeling of the house is haunted.
Yes.
I mean, we've got a what is it, a poltergeist?
Yes.
And like all this kind of like kind of tapping into like an era of like Dickens-esque.
Yeah, so that's the thing. The reason he brings up Poltergeist because all these things have been going missing, but that's things have been burnt.
Yes,
but there are ghosts who aren't doing anything, who are just there.
Yeah, and they don't see them, so it, like a bit like when they don't see all the stuff happening in Boring.
Scapegoated for everything that's going missing.
Scapegoated. I would watch a whole episode of just those two ghosts.
Of Frost and Arden,
Those two characters. I think they are my favourite appearance. That's their favourite appearance of mine.
Of
all of
their appearances. Okay, yeah.
There's no
even beats
ending to
beats
it.
them as policemen.
Personally, I think so. The policeman felt very similar to their other stuff that they've done.
Okay.
This felt very young onesy, I suppose. And,
Yeah.
and again, I mentioned ghosts, but this felt like years before.
Yeah.
I really would have watched the show of those two as ghosts.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really fun bit for them, but I think probably I prefer them, or at least my favourite bit would be them being the gate crashers for the party.
Oh yeah.
The skin and
See,
like all that, like
they
trying to blag their way in.
They crop up in so many good bits,
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do.
The bits that they really make their own.
Yeah, definitely.
They're the fifth and sixth member of the young ones, not counting Alexis Sale.
Well, and not counting the fifth housemate.
Yeah, and Lee Corns and all the rest of the people that turned up as jobs for the boys, as like Lisa Mayer actually says on the commentary.
Yeah.
Like they point it out, they're a bit like, oh, we kind of just got like jobs for everyone we knew, and Lisa was like, yeah, that was on purpose. Like we were trying to, as I think we said on a previous episode, we were trying to give a leg up to everyone else we knew and worked with, and that that at the time made sense. It still would make sense, but obviously now it feels like you're crowding out other people from the fair chance of getting on.
To do something with these chances they were given, they weren't just squandered. They helped give a leg up to these people who, they just needed a break.
Well,
they were ready to entertain.
Let's face it. I mean, Rick and Aid and Nigel, and they had just been live performers, really, up until the point of getting a bit of a break. With obviously they had the comic strip as well as the young ones, and it was just that really exciting time where it's like you're the talent, and without someone like Paul Jackson putting them on Boom Boom Go the Lights, they were getting their they were getting their break because they were talented, and obviously all the people at the Comedy Store were.
That's what they've said. Just putting the live acts on television as is didn't translate well, didn't capture the excitement stuff. So they learned, oh no, you need a sitcom, you need something.
And I guess the young ones was an experiment in as much of a way that Boom Boom Go the Lights was an experiment, in terms of let's see how this plays and how it's received by audiences.
But by series 2, they know it works. So they kind of got the formula working for their experiment. And one of the things in their formula was, of course, an addition of a musical act in order to bump their budget up. This week, it's Jules Holland and his band doing a cover of, am I right in thinking Subterranean Homesick Blues is a Bob Dylan song originally? I think it is.
Probably. I mean, this is Ken Bishop's Nice 12 is the name of this band.
Now, was Roland Rivron just there as a musician? Like, is he, I know he did Raw Sex, all right, which did music. But did Roland Rivron used to be a musician who then went into comedy, or I
think he was in there. He was like a bit of he was a comedian, musical, like that kind of because Nigel Planer himself was like doing music stuff, wasn't he? And then obviously that's where the Neil character kind of came from. He was like a folk singer parody, wasn't he? As far as I know, Roland Rivron was a musician. Don't know what he played, or he was a singer as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess I say I don't know. Did you know this song had rights issues, and this segment had to be cut out of some broadcasts and stuff, and it was only fairly recently they sorted the rights out and could put the scene back in.
So who did it belong to then?
Well, I guess it's because it's a supergroup with so many different people.
Well, no.
Is it a cover?
It would have been about the rights to the music, not about the people who played it, surely.
Well, I think a little bit of both, isn't it? Like or each of those has some kind of slice of this.
Were they saying on repeat showings, we're not happy with that?
I guess. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Because you must have got the okay for the original
Bob
broadcast.
Dylan. Yeah, the song where he's like got the signs and he's like, he wrote it. So maybe it was a thing with,
Well, there's some signs. They actually use some street signs in this. Maybe that's a reference to that. They have a bit where they hold up the sign, caution, slow filming or something. That's obviously a set sign. Okay. They just grab something. And now it's time for a quick word from our sponsor.
I told you to get rid of him on Monday! Crikey, I gotta do everything myself! I said sell! Ah! Neil!
Oh, hi, Viv.
Still trying to save the world, eh, Neil? It's money that makes the world go round, not peace and love. You can't love your neighbour and make a decent profit.
Well, you can with Friends Provident, actually, Viv.
I'm talking serious money. Every man for himself. Friends who?
Friends Provident. They're really big in ethical investment.
Ethical?
Yeah, they believe in keeping your money out of anything heavy.
And I suppose you stand to make a heavy profit, do you, Neil?
Well, actually, I already have, Vyvyan.
Well, how'd they manage it?
Talk to my breadhead.
Ask your breadhead about stewardship ethical investments from Friends Provident. We've grown big by being recommended.
I think it's interesting that...
Interested in what way? Sorry.
Vyvyan, when he brings up I'm pregnant as an excuse to not join the army, out of all of them, Vyvyan would probably do quite well in the army.
He'd want access to weaponry and heavy machinery, wouldn't he?
He bought that. Yeah. He stole a howitzer. What's that called? Like
howitzer?
The gun thing in in Time.
Yeah, but he doesn't want a job. Like, that's the point of this, isn't it? Like, that's where Rick's like, I'm not getting aggressive, but why should he be the one who gets a job? So obviously it falls to Neil because he's on the bottom of the pile. And the brilliance of he's going to join the army, and then SPG saying, don't tell them you're a pacifist.
As he says, it's like the only bit of advice is, don't tell them you're a pacifist.
And then the brilliant setup, the first thing he says is that he gets thrown out. I love him in that suit as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit David Tennant-y. He's got white trainers on.
I mean, it is, as they say, quite quite snug, you know.
Yeah.
He's borrowed one of Mike's, isn't it? That's the gag. I do love.
Should that be up his legs then? Wouldn't it be like Schultz?
It is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then obviously him being gutted about his hair. Like you
Half
do
a
feel
haircut,
sorry. You
yeah.
feel sorry for Neil in that bit where he's like, oh, I hate
Using
you.
garden shears
a
to
new
cut it
wig,
through.
as he said,
Yes.
obviously, because they can't destroy the old one.
Yeah, exactly.
But even after being rejected by the army, of course, as the police sign says, we take absolutely anyone.
The job listing from the papers where they find out about the army, isn't it? It's literally all blank
There's
apart
nothing-
from the army.
there's nothing else in the paper.
bottom
It's
corner.
it's all white.
Situations vacant page, completely blank. Another comment on society and how the state of it. And I do love there's there's misspellings in that ad.
Yeah.
Like
Because it's the thick police.
yeah, I think that's the idea. Well, armed forces, isn't it? But it's
All right.
like join the professionals, and professionals is
Yeah.
spelt incorrectly,
Yeah.
and then just it's great.
Yeah.
You can have a gun
Join the
if
professionals.
you
It's
want.
great. You
Yeah.
can have a gun if you want, and there's money in it, not the gun. Brilliant.
Is great spelled GRATE?
I think it does have a miss, but I think it's just the A and the E are the wrong way around.
Okay.
I think it's
Money.
that.
Because I'm thinking
there's
of
money in it, the
Eddie
job,
is
not the
great from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Holy episode.
Yeah, no, I think it's that the A and the E are the wrong way around.
Do you know about the deleted joke? They wrote a purposely filthy joke that wouldn't make it onto TV.
Oh, well, and
No,
it
what?
just
It's
ended up
just-
getting bleeped, didn't it?
Well,
yeah.
the joke, they wanted to get it bleeped, so I perform it how they wanted it to go out. They would say, someone would say something, a bunch of wankers. Oh, you can't say wankers on television. No, you can't say, stop fucking that dead dog up the arse and eat my shit, Mrs. Thatcher.
And then that's what got beeped. Yeah, yeah.
Which character was meant to say that?
I don't know. Lisa Mayers mentions it on the commentary. I think
I
there's a
blanked on
bit
listening to that.
as an outtakes bloopers reel where you can see Neil say, "Oh, you can't say wankers on TV." So I
Okay.
think that they got a little bit of that in.
That's brilliant. I mean, again, another go at Thatcher, and sort of reminiscent. No. What's the before something's happened? Of the bottom, you've cunting hit the clit on the nail
Yeah,
there.
sure.
You
You
cunting
cunting
bastard,
bastard,
like
yeah.
that.
Precursor
That gets
to it?
bleeped.
Precursor.
Yeah.
Yeah, precursor. That's what I was
I
reaching
think.
for.
Do you think it's definitely right on purpose that they picked Neil, the most gentle, kindest man,
Oh,
to
yeah.
join the police and then become a thug?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So you can't really. Mike wouldn't do it, right? You can't see that. Vyvyan and Rick. Imagine Vyvyan or Rick going into that house of hippies.
But-
Who's it funnier for the about turn to
Yeah.
come
Oh, it's
from?
definitely
Neil.
it's
Yeah.
the funniest thing that they're making Neil get the job. But like, it's interesting that in a previous episode, Vyvyan actually says, "I'd quite like to join the police," isn't it? But
Shut up.
when it actually comes to it, and he's
Yeah.
got no money, it's like, I'm going to feign pregnancy so I can get out of the having to actually go out to work, even though he would enjoy it. I do love some of the visual obviously of just Neil in the uniform is brilliant. And then earlier on, when you've got Rick smoking 6 cigarettes at once.
Well, in between,
Have you-
in between each finger.
Like, there's so many just really random visual.
Mike chewing his fingernails and spitting them out is quite good. It's quite gross.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
When's he doing that?
Right after, literally the shot after Rick with all
Oh.
the cigarettes.
Interesting, but it's like this because Rick's obviously like really panicked and wound up, and it is interesting
yeah.
that Rick's character is like going to nicotine, like
chain smoking 6 at the same
You see
time.
Yeah.
all of them smoke. Yeah, all of them smoke in the show, don't they? At some point.
Do we see Mike? Actually
He's got a cigar in this
Oh
episode.
yeah, of
Oh yeah,
course, yeah.
I mean,
Not ciggies.
his cigar is
Yeah.
quite an important element at the very end,
He
isn't
hasn't
it?
got a straight.
What do you guys think of Alexei Sale as Mussolini, the police chief?
And then the uniform looks good. I again just it's not something that I really love rewatching. I can't say it more.
I
Like I don't know, it just doesn't make me laugh.
I like the line, "She nutted me." What was that for? That's for the invasion of Crete. Just so specific
Yeah,
and
yeah.
unusual.
I think doesn't Alexei say that people used to tell him he looked like
Yeah,
him?
okay.
And our friend Lee Corns turns up very briefly.
Yes.
As a sort of compare type person.
Yeah, to introduce him with
Introducing
the
him for
song.
the stars in your eyes kind of thing. Stupid Noises, I think, is the song.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the commentary about that. Like, Alexei has a sort of moment of reflection of his career. It's like, I really did think I could compare myself to the likes of Billy Connolly and like be like a master of light entertainment, and this is what I was putting out. Stupid Noises.
That's a bit of self-awareness from Alexei. I do like Alexei Sell, by the way. I think he's got really strong, like obviously strong opinions and values, and he's never swayed away from them, has he? I just haven't watched a lot of his other stuff
Yeah.
apart from what he did in The Young Ones. So for me, when you rewatch The Young
Yeah.
Ones, I'm just sort of like, this isn't really the bit I'm here for, you know. So
Um,
it's not that we're in any way wanting to be negative every time when we come up to Alexi's bit, but it doesn't really connect with me.
Vyvyan's baby kicks, and we get what I think I'm right in saying at this point is the first time in The Young Ones where we see what I would call the classic Rick Mail, Richie. Look,
Yeah,
Rick
and he's
goes
kind
like
of a little bit pervy about
Yeah.
wanting to listen to his belly.
now.
Yeah.
That's the look on Rick's face that he would then use in Bottom and other shows as the "I'm aroused. Oh my God, Lady
Yeah.
Natasha is getting undressed" look.
So I think maybe he does it a tiny bit when he mentions Felicity Kendall at the laundrette, but this is front and centre.
Yeah.
You're meant to see this, yeah.
I think more than like arousal, though, what Rick the student is meant to be feeling in that moment. Because I agree, that's the face of what Rick is pulling. But I feel like the Rick student character isn't aroused as such as like, this is
Excited?
weird and
Right,
exciting. You know, like
Okay.
it's like, oh, this is
Yeah.
something I've never done before
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, like, and it's like a weird thing for him that's weirdly exciting, I guess, because listening to someone's a baby in like Vyvyan's belly, like I don't know, I don't think it's arousal that Rick's trying to get across.
Any kind of
there.
human intimacy at all is probably a bit.
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe that it's like, oh, I'm being allowed to do this, and then it's just brilliant when he kicks him, obviously.
Did you notice that at the beginning of that scene, Rick is warming himself from the fridge?
Yeah.
The joke is it's colder than the fridge.
Okay.
It's
No, I didn't-
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I love that. And then
That's
obviously like
lovely.
Vyvyan craving a piece of fried lavatory paper, and it's like you've already had all of that.
Yeah, when you're out of luck, you've already eaten it all.
When Neil goes to break up that party as the horrific fascist copper that he's now become,
Yeah.
is Paul Bradley playing the same hippie character?
Yes,
that-
he's Warlock. Doesn't he
He
say hello,
mentions
Warlock?
Hey,
It was
Warlock.
the same one. Yeah,
How's it
yeah,
going?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the character's name from before, but it's the same one.
Yeah,
Okay.
he calls him Warlock.
Recurring character. Nice one, Paul Bradley. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And it is quite sweet how he kind of turns up, and obviously he doesn't in any way think that Neil is a real policeman.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're like, where have you got that
It's
from?
a
You know?
costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love the take your tit off your head.
Yeah.
There's a nice line where it's like Neil's trying to warn him, look, he's really heavy. No, it's not. We've still got plenty more.
Yeah.
Come in. Don't flush. I didn't get it first time. Don't flush the toilet. I thought
Yeah,
it was just a
yeah.
gross thing, but it's they're flashing the stash.
We've got our stash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the house, they're playing a game of cards. Rick loses them. The plot drives forward. A big truck of food and money smashes through the window.
Yes.
Which not only delivers them from their plight, but instantly turns them, doesn't it, as characters?
But I love it
all
because
cunts straight away. Yeah.
the full line is like, with all the money and food and everything we need.
Everything. Yeah.
Like, just everything we
I
need.
like the driver then says sorry. Oh, sorry, sorry, and runs off, leaving the truck there.
Leave this truck full of money. Yeah.
I mean, we skipped over the card game as well, but I do love that it's like, why is it only someone with R in their name that only gets to have one card?
Something which is then sort of kind of replicated in Bottom that we see, you know,
Yeah.
where Richie and Eddie playing cards.
And it's just a similar bullying of like when they're playing
Yeah.
Monopoly and all that, but it's just a really nice thing that Rick's kind of moaning about it, but he's still not actually
Still going still believes
Like,
that's
he's
that-
still
that
like,
is
okay,
the
I'll
rule.
play along
That
with
is the
these
rule.
rules.
I guess you didn't make the rules, did you?
How effortlessly does Rick switch from, you know, like socialist justice warrior to absolute upper class toff? Here, have a big bundle of money, you know.
That fur coat.
Go away,
And the
thank you, little
cane.
man, or something. What's he
Yeah.
call him? I think he looks a little bit like Drop Dead Fred.
I thought that
Yeah.
it's the big hair,
Yeah.
isn't it? He's
It
sort of spiked his
absolutely
hair
is,
up.
and the holding of that cane and the way he's presenting himself is when Drop Dead Fred's at the Charlie party
Yes.
with Lizzie. But I think Lisa Mayer said that it was him as the government inspector was what it reminded her of.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
when
but
he
he's
played
not
that on
yet done that
stage.
yet. He does that after this.
So yeah, but that embodiment
Yes.
of like, you know, I suppose pomposity and because Rick could play everything. Like he
Yeah.
could do a convincing, pompous, horrible, rich person, and he could also be the snivelling piece of snot, you know, rag on your shoe, couldn't he? Like he was convincing in whatever he committed to. But yeah, like you say, Rick the character, like how quickly do they all turn on a sixpence? But Rick's the most
I mean, Mike
disgusting to do it.
Mike,
Kind of acting.
kind of like it's effortless, isn't it?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Viv is still just basically up on the table or the bed or whatever it was, you know, waiting to give birth
Yeah.
to his enormous fart. And of course, Neil returns home and tries to act with some form of authority
Yeah.
from the police that just gets totally disregarded by his housemates.
Well, he thinks he's got the wrong house as well, doesn't he? When he first
Ooh,
walks
sorry,
in?
wrong house.
Yeah.
And then there's a really random bit with those dog puppets, isn't there? Just before he gets
They're
in.
the Roland Rat puppeteers' work.
Are they?
And you can really see the join that they're not real talking dogs. So I won't have that for a moment. They're definitely puppets.
Cash overall as an episode. I'm not wrapping up as such, like we haven't even finished, but like it's not one that I felt was a memorable one when I first watched series 2, put it that way. I did enjoy rewatching it though.
It doesn't feel like one that I would consider a favourite.
I really, really did find that I'd forgotten a lot of it actually. So it was nice to be like,
of good
okay,
moments.
this is this one. And there's some amazing little bits of dialogue, amazing set piece, obviously Rick falling down the stairs, and then just the concept of it, of like, okay, they've been students, they've not really had any, they've been living in poverty anyway, but now we're going to go to the extreme. It's a really fun thing that they explore. And then like, what's going to make Neil be desperate enough to get a job in the police? And then that, as you say, that turn of like, he actually does get into character once the uniform's on.
I do like also that it has an ending like last week in Bambi where it's kind of set up, do you know what I mean? So like this pregnancy is set up early on and it's revealed to be a fart, which then obviously Mike, as in celebration for the new parent, lights a cigar. And we it's a bit like last week when I'm going to balance this sticky bun here, and then that's what ends the episode. And in this case, we get the house exploding with a really good model of the house. Like they've done a great job with that.
I think it's quite sad when you see them all crying, or at least see Rick crying during the credits when with their house now ruined, destroyed. Unusual that when their house was destroyed in the pilot, they then need a new house. This time, cartoon logic, it just resets for the next episode.
Do you think he's crying because all the money and
I do.
More so than just
it's
the
not
house?
He was attached to this shithole. He was attached to this new comfortable lifestyle that he just inherited that's now gone up in smoke, literally.
Up in gas, up in Vyvyan's fart. It is, again, a cartoon ending that resets, but then it's also plays into the sitcom reset, doesn't it? It's like, okay, these crazy characters, you'll join them again next week. They're not dead.
Yeah.
They didn't actually, you don't have a question mark as to whether they're dead because you do see
them come out, yes.
So, they've done that, narrowly escaped thing when you cut to a cartoon character when they're singed and their hair's and they've survived the impossible. Yeah, I like Cash. I think I really did enjoy rewatching the sort of like it's austerity kind of like thing, and like the comment on Thatcher's Britain is overt in this one. I think even though they're playing with the Victorian side of it, it's definitely that they're like, this is how some people live it. It's an extreme. And then to have them, if you give them just all the money and cash in the world that they'd ever want, then they'd be just as awful, these characters, because you're not meant to obviously revere and like these characters. They would all sell each other down the river, of course they would, to the point where Neil doesn't even recognise them when he comes in.
That's true.
That's how quickly they've completely transformed.
A
lot of money's gone into those costumes, hasn't it?
I mean, they are pretty opulent, aren't they?
In it for 3 minutes, if that.
Wow, but that's having access to the BBC costume department.
And the rest of it, I guess, pretty bare in terms of the set, apart from burning
I tell you what,
things.
That's what strikes you on the opening of the episode. I'm looking at it going, this place looks and feels stark. And it's revealed, because they burned everything. But it looks like they've moved out,
Yes, it's it's completely empty, isn't it?
So what would you guys say are standout moments for you?
I would say, the risotto bit. Just it's a real silly, like, eat it quickly, okay? There's a logic to what's going on that Neil's trying to pull a fast one. It's snow, isn't it? I just think that's so fucking wonderful between them. And then Mike, don't you want yours? The ghosts, I think, were excellent. I like going back to the plates being smashed up when you see, so Neil is trying to nail down the plates to stop them being stolen. Vyvyan's reaction is like, broken crockery again? That's my recipe. Nails aren't in the recipe.
You've stolen the one thing I can cook.
Andy De La Torre's bit, I think, is really good. Obviously, I've got a weird connection to that bit. And Neil was a policeman. I like how his whole character goes away. It's a comment on, like the kind of people that you would envision would go join the police, like the kind of bully type.
Yeah,
That get
yeah.
a little bit of authority and
Yeah, yeah.
instantly turn
Like
into a thug.
the little man who gets the
Yeah.
badge and now can take it out on
Yeah,
people.
and he
Yeah,
literally, there's some glee in his face when he uses that truncheon to hit one of his friends, one of these hippie friends on their head.
Yeah.
And it just, you feel kind of sad, like, oh no, not Neil.
You've been corrupted by the
Yeah.
system, man.
Yeah.
Standout moment for me, which I don't think we actually did talk about at length, was definitely the bank manager letter.
Oh,
yeah.
Darling fascist
yes,
bully
that
boy.
is an excellent bit.
That
That's
is
some
so
excellent
fun,
language,
isn't it?
The way they play with language, and it's almost like a comment on the writing process, isn't it?
Oh,
The way they
definitely.
edit and chip in,
Yeah.
change little bits.
I love how they're kind of bullying. He's just writing to the bank manager to ask for cash because they're desperate.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
then-
like, why don't you go and stick your tongue down the back of his trousers just because
And
he's
then after,
bank
like,
manager.
right, we've got the letter now. That's it. That's gonna work. But
Yeah.
I need to burn the letter.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you just think one little bit ahead, guys? Like, that could be a lot more. But no, come on, for a second on the fire, and it goes up for a second. That we got literally a couple of seconds of warmth from that scrumped up bit of paper.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, obviously just the whole "May the seed of your loin be fruitful in the belly of your woman." Like Neil is like, his voice is there, isn't it? Fully there by series 2, and it's so much fun. They're always Rick bits, aren't they, for me? But I think obviously the fall down the stairs with the banister, and then the Thatcher, screaming down the camera, "Hope you're satisfied, Thatcher," about Vyvyan's baby being born in as a pauper, and then just like, I don't know, just silly bits like along the way that Rick said. Like, there's loads of great lines from Rick in this one, like the "eat your own earwax," and we all know how horrible that tastes, right, kids? And there's a lot of fourth wall breaking, actually, isn't there?
Yeah.
That doesn't feel incongruous. It's just kind of like, they're talking directly to your crowd now, and just it's a fun one. I do agree. Arden and Frost are great in this one. What about you, Paul? Any other standouts?
I think probably Arden and Frost, definitely. Love them, and I agree with you, Matt. So there's like a spin-off that I'd love to see with those characters elsewhere. The Rick stunt coming down the stairs, squashing his bollocks, and then also just a little bit that is done. Vyvyan and Mike are using Rick as a chair. There's just something about
when he
it.
knocks him out.
Hits him down, and he goes down, and they just both sit on him and use him as a chair.
They haven't got a
Okay.
sofa, absolutely. And Rick plays that really well, doesn't he? He's just literally passed out.
So there's a nice bit as well, just reminding me of when they're like, oh, we need some more chairs. Oh, I've got chairs in my car. Oh, we'll have to use those. Well, no, they're I suppose I could drive the whole car. No, better idea. We'll go out there. And then Neil said, oh, I can come. I said, no, because you remember,
If you touch my car,
I'll kill you.
yeah.
And then, is it what are the names Vyvyan has for the baby? It's like, is it "shut up and go away" or something?
This
Is that a quiz
segment has
que- is that a
fucking
quiz question?
decimated the quiz.
It's fine. It's all like an episode.
You've fucked 5
But
questions in this
well, you can
moment.
still ask
Yeah.
them. It's,
It's fine. Like, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love that where it's like, "shut up or go away," isn't it? And Rick thinks he's talking to him. There's loads of great little bits in it. It's lots of fun. They're really in their groove. It's also making quite a valid point as well, isn't it? Like, the message is there, man. Yeah, it's got a big fart gag at the end. What else can you want?
One of the reviews Paul unearthed from the BBC archives. Yeah, we like to read them through on the podcast because, where else would you hear them? The Sunday Telegraph, 20th of May 1984. Not sure if that's when it was written or when it was archived, but here we go. The Young Ones, BBC Two, offers some of the same critical problems as Spitting Image. Anyone offering a little outrage is to be cosseted, at least for a week or two, and in the case of the spectacularly unsavoury crew, that's unfair, a guffaw or something is sooner or later going to be forced out. Last week's instalment was, in fact, intermittently about farting, a subject which rather neatly served as a model for the humour of Ben Elton, Rick Mayall and Lisa Mayer. The explosive climax was well-timed and funny, but along the way yawned many smelly patches. What the Young Ones, Mayall, Aid Emerson, Nigel Planer, and the worryingly normal Christopher Ryan. I used to slag off Christopher Ryan when I was younger. I just feel bad when I hear these things now. He's a human man he tried really hard,
He did a great job.
He did his best what he could. Anyway, the guys are inviting you to laugh at or be shocked by is, of course, a lurch through life without any saving graces or niceties. These qualities haven't been normally rejected. They simply never came their way. Acne and aggro and dirty vests are all they know. When the enemy, respectively, is enshrined in something as prime as University Challenge, week before last, there is a certain seedy pleasure in seeing it harrowed. Otherwise, watching the show is like watching the monkeys at the zoo. That's not too bad comparison. There is just a chance they might do something really original involving passing an archdeacon, say, but mostly it's the usual little habits from which you avert the children's gaze. That could be any episode talking about, really. Very vague.
That one obviously was the 20th of May. So this is like at least after the second one went out.
So I think that's for the third one because it said week before last about Bambi.
What date was the very first episode? Was it the 8th of May or something?
The very first.
The very first episode of series 2 was the
8th
of May. So yeah, it's a couple of weeks on, isn't it? But he's talking about it as a whole, but he's being a dick, isn't he?
You know, you're talking about Christopher Ryan there. I listened to Robert Webb's appearing on a podcast called Rule of Three, where they talk about comedies, because he talks about Bambi that we did last week. And he said he did a show with Christopher Ryan for 10 weeks. I think it was a theatre show. And he said, if I work with heroes, you know, I will still say to them, look, thank you for doing the show that I loved. And so he said, look, Christopher, I just wanted to say thank you for The Young Ones. It was my favourite show growing up. Apparently Christopher Ryan said, oh, well, thank you, Robert, but I think we both know I was horribly miscast in it. And that was his response. And Robert Webb was like trying to say to him, no, I think you were great in it. You know, I think Christopher Ryan has managed to spend a long time just basically putting up with people, giving him shit.
He's fucking excellent in Bottom, though. He's not unfunny actor.
Yeah,
it's just I don't think the Mike character's the best written character.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got one here from the Mail on Sunday. This is from the 13th of May, 1984. This is actually, it reads like he's reviewing the Bambi episode. So this is from the Daniel Farson TV column, and they've got a little picture here of Daniel, and he just looks like a face that you would normally see in the audience of Question Time, you know, with legitimate concerns over immigration and when are we going to stop the boats, that kind of thing. I'm getting all that from his face. Anyway.
And the fact that he works for the Mail on Sunday.
Yeah, this is what Daniel Farson has to say. Oh, actually, my eyes went to the end and maybe he might actually like it. Okay, here we go. Welcome to The Young Ones. Love them or loathe them, either way, they are disgusting. No girl in her right mind would take them home to meet her parents. Rick has spots and a dank little knot of hair at the back. Vyvyan has a ring through his nose and 4 stars on his... There's some writing over it. 4 stars on his head below an orange ripple that passes for hair.
What?
Neil wears a greasy mop and smells. Encouraged by disaster in a laundrette, he exclaims, let's never wash our clothes again. What do you mean again? Snaps Mike, who is dapper by comparison. Their language is equally horrid, dwelling on spotty botties and laxative explosions. When they compete in University Challenge, they do so for Scumbag College, with question master Bambi, a devastating impression by Griffiths Jones with just the right pained expression. They live together in amicable abuse in a revolting house, eating leftovers from a garbage can, which include a dead rat, much to Vyvyan's relish, while Rick, who is self-satisfied beyond endurance with his nasty little badges and leather caps, shouts out, hands up who likes me. It's thumbs down from the rest of them, and apparently thumbs down from half the nation too. The Young Ones, BBC Two, are back. The funniest series on television, and I welcome their return as much as an unexpected check in the post. In spite of their alleged anarchic behaviour, they are innocents in a hostile world.
Okay.
It's interesting.
What does he mean by half the nation? I guess the character they don't like, but they like the actor.
From what I read from that is that the show was a bit Marmite, split people. Either you loved it or hated it, and half the nation hated it and was railing against it. Maybe what's this filth and depravity and juvenile squalor doing on our TV screens? Do you remember like there was the review from the first series about the guy who was like saying how the kids in school were watching it, and
well, this is the panic that Mary Whitehouse had, isn't it? You know, that's where the sort of censorship of rude things and swearing and having the watershed and all that. It's all to not poison the minds of our fragile youth. And actually, young people gravitate towards things that feel naughty but funny, like not just crass and rude for the sake of it. I think that's where we've said it with Bottom. We'll say it with The Young Ones, like people didn't really see that this isn't just anarchy and fart gags. Like it's much more than that. and this is the voice of the youth. I mean, you know, Rick, Aid, Nigel, bit older, I think, and then Chris Ryan a bit older. But you know, they were young people who just graduated from university, pretty much themselves. So of course, the 10 years younger kind of crowd are looking up to people like that because they know how to speak to them. And it is interesting that I think Ben Elton said he didn't really realise it at the time, but it was where sort of private humour between him and Rick and Aid and how they talked to each other became public humour because their language got picked up. You know,
Fartings from
in
them,
jokes
yeah.
between them became part of the language because people were mimicking it from the characters. And that's a really special moment in comedy, isn't it? And that couldn't have been predicted, and they couldn't have known that would be what was that was part of what would translate from this.
What a wonderful thing to have, that you can influence British culture in that way, that
Yeah.
your private jokes and things become part of what
Yeah.
people say in everyday life.
But they'd be talking that way to each other, and obviously
Yeah.
young people do banter with each other and all that sort of thing. I think, I mean, I read Matt Perry's autobiography, which is deeply sad now in hindsight, and it is a tough one to read.
You said
but
Matt Berry. Matthew
Matthew Perry, yeah, he talks about how him and his friends used to have that intonation of "Could I be any more?" And that was something that translated into Friends because he was obviously doing Chandler in that way.
Yeah.
And that was again something that was just private joke and humor, but it does translate and people pick up on it, and it's how people started speaking to each other. It has a real influence over the population when a show does that. But yeah, the farty breath and all that kind of thing, a lot of fun, feels very teenage. That's why teenagers are sort of latching into it. It's like you're talking in the way we did. Reviewers sat, you know, in front of their computer screens, like, aren't necessarily aware of that because it's literally the day after it's broadcast and they don't know how it's resonated with audiences, and they've just got their opinion and they either love it or hate it. It was like Marmite, I guess.
Typewriters,
Yeah.
not computer screens back then.
Well, yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Anyway.
But
Right, that was episode 2, series 2, Cash. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's not the most memorable one overall, but it's chock-a-block full of great moments.
Yeah.
I do think, maybe it's a little unfair that we don't remember it as a great one, because I don't know. I guess it just doesn't quite add up to some of its parts for whatever reason. But yeah, it's not a shit one.
I mean, something has to be average, right? Across 12 episodes, there are some that you're going to see as the
As
best, and
better
some
than
that
others,
you're going
sure.
to see as
Yeah.
lesser.
I think
you
we've
know.
said that about Bottom, like even like one that we don't necessarily say is a favourite, like it's still a really quality, great episode, isn't
Yeah.
it? And Cash is an all-rounder.
So have you got some quiz questions for us, Matt?
We've got a quiz, 10 questions, first to 10. Can I hear your fart noises, please, guys?
All right, I'll go with...
Paul.
There we go.
Okay. That bit loud?
That's
All right.
the perfect volume.
That's fine.
Okay.
Bit long, no? Oh, good. Okay.
Right. So I've got a couple of spares, so I might skip a few because we've kind of gone over them. But right, at least 10 questions. Here we go. What names does Vyvyan suggest for the names of his baby?
Shut up or go away.
No,
Oh, is it not?
No.
Have I got it wrong?
You've got it
There
wrong.
you go.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
it's shut up or piss off.
Oh, do you know what?
okay.
I thought it was that, and I thought, wait, surely they weren't saying piss off on the Beeb after
no,
the
no.
watershed.
No.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
shut up or piss off. Okay, I was censoring myself. Do I not get half a point for shut up?
No.
What?
At the beginning of the episode, we see Rick's bedroom. What is the poster that he has on the door, and what are the dates on that poster?
Oh, okay. Well, it's Lenin. Don't know the dates.
Oh, 1917?
Right. Well, this what I will give you a point for it, because I was thinking, it's the dates he lived and died, which is I'd have.
Do you know them?
1870 to 1924.
Very good to know that. I just spotted that it was Lenin.
Yes. So that's 1 to Ange. Paul, all to play 4. Question number 3. Why does Neil not get the job at the army?
It's probably
Paul?
Because he told them he was a pacifist.
Yes.
He did have a stupid haircut.
Question number 4. What is the book that Rick is reading at the beginning of the episode?
Capital, Volume 1, but Das Capital.
Das Capital is the
well,
full name.
well,
It's what it
in the
says on it.
episode, I'd looked at it, I paused it. It is Capital, Volume 1.
Yeah.
Ange, he's giving you the he's giving you the point. Why are you getting defensive?
Well,
when-
I'm just saying that's what's in the episode. It's definitely Capital Volume 1. But yeah, Das Capital is Karl Marx's. I've not read it. Maybe I should.
Neither have I. I've only ever read one book, and that's Talking Bottom, a guide to the cult sitcom. Question number 5. What actor introduces Alexei Sayle's musical moment?
Lee Corns.
Friend of the show, Lee Corns. Yes. That's 3 to Ange, 1 to Paul.
Friend of which show? This show?
This show. Our show.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Just
of our
clarifying
podcast.
that he's
Good old Lee.
our
Yeah.
great mate Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Rick asks if there's anything he can do for a pregnant Vyvyan, what does Vyvyan ask for?
Ooh, I actually
dunno.
can't remember. It must be food or some kind of
No?
favour.
Okay, none of you?
Nah.
Kill yourself.
Oh, nice.
Damn it. Okay.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Question 7. According to Neil, what does Boom Shanker mean?
May the seed of your belly be fruitful in your woman.
Nearly.
Well,
Oh,
nearly.
in the belly of your woman. Sorry,
May the
I've
seed
said
of
that.
your loins be fruitful.
Sorry, I fucked that up. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
I'd say you've pretty much got it, haven't you?
I said it earlier, didn't I? When I was reading it out.
Go on, Matt, what is it?
May the seed of your loin be ever fruitful in the belly of your woman.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say give it. But hey, it's your quiz, you choose.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
What scores are we on?
So that is 3 to Ange, 1 to Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't say it right,
No.
but I knew what I meant.
Yeah. When police constable, officer, whatever, Neil is fresh on the job, he's radioed some orders. What are those orders?
Go to the party and smash it up.
That's almost there.
Riot something or other.
Almost there. Oh, I'm going to give that to you, Paul, because you're in desperate need for some points. It's
What is
get
this
round there,
favouritism?
get round there, smash the place up, arrest everybody.
Oh, nice. Okay. That isn't what Paul said whatsoever, but okay.
He said smash. He said something about smashing up.
It basically is.
Yeah. Right.
Keep on blowing each other
Question
behind
8.
the scenes. What do I care?
Question 8. We've touched upon in the episode that there's some strange and unusual rules for the card game, which is that people with an R in the name are only allowed one card.
Yeah.
What is the card that Rick has?
3.
Yes, 1-3. I don't think he specifies what the 3 is. You probably see it, but I'll take
That's
3.
how pathetic Rick is.
Yeah.
He doesn't even say
And
it.
that-
I've only got a 3 of hearts.
The answer 3 takes Ange from a 3 to a 4.
You can't lead with a 3. Doing League of Gentlemen now. Go on.
Oh, point!
Next question.
This
When-
is go, Johnny, go, not Bamble with this badge.
When they are rich, filthy rich, and cat flap. When they are rich, what food, including there's a 2-ingredient food that Vyvyan is eating. What is that?
Caviar and cornflakes. I
It's
don't know.
almost caviar with ketchup.
Nice.
This caviar's pretty great, isn't it? Well, liberally spraying
Okay.
ketchup on it.
It's fish poo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've got one more question. I've kind of lost count because I've got a few spares and I skipped a few. But
What are we on scores wise?
scores wise, it's 4 to Ange, 2 to Paul.
Okay.
So, I'll go through them. While they're rich as well, there's a famous art piece on the wall. What is that?
Oh, don't tell me they got the Mona Lisa.
Got the Mona
right?
Lisa,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yes.
So that's 3.
Like Better Than the Genie.
Yeah, I think that's 10. Go on, a couple of the other ones
Yeah,
as well.
let's have some fun.
Right, when exaggerating for effect, what does Rick say he's so hungry he could eat?
I buzzed in excitedly. I can't remember.
His own earwax.
Of course, I said that earlier. Right. I think.
And
Is it a new fact that we're talking about?
this one's a new fact,
Okay.
actually. Okay. Last question then, or nothing to play for. What singing artist, not as in painter, does Neil stop playing? Like he stops a record from playing something while at the parties break it up. You know, like they did.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was
Singer, is it?
interesting. Yeah.
Is it Jimi Hendrix?
No.
No?
I can't remember. his
Oh
one.
no, it's Steve Hillinge.
Okay.
Very good. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a very poorly organised quiz on my part where I lost count of the episode of the question numbers. I can't even say the right word there.
But the important thing is that I won.
You did win.
You have
and
lost control
definitely
and
won.
failed to
Yes.
control your guests, and that makes you liable. It's 1 minute past 4.
Read the small print in your contract. We've been all over the British comedy quotes this episode. It's fun. I hope other people listening aren't just Young Ones fans and they know what the fuck we're talking about.
So there you go. That was Cash. So next week it's Nasty, and just your episode.
Yes, I'll be doing the quiz.
Excellent.
Leading on it.
In the meantime, if you are on the social medias, you can follow us at Talking Bottom on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. I think that's all of them. And you can email us at 11mathkingparade@gmail.com.
Book, buy the book. Buy the book. It's brilliant. That's the new jingle. I've just come out with it. on
Not
the
sure
spot.
it's going to catch on.
Right.
And
But the
also-
book's very good.
And also, very soon, we'll be interviewing Paul Jackson at the Rick Mail Comedy Festival.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.